Hello, my name is Debbie Anderson, and I'm here today to help you heal on your recovery path from narcissistic abuse with education, science, and spirituality. So today I'm here to talk about what it feels like to be in a relationship with someone who is a narcissist. So for years I had no idea that I was in an abusive relationship. I mean, none. I later discovered that virtually no one had any idea initially that they're even in a narcissistic relationship. So like most people, I thought that narcissists were those people who loved themselves, had overinflated egos, were self-absorbed, but this is not the complete truth. And it's actually far from what a narcissist really is. So I knew something was very wrong, but I thought it was something I was doing or not doing in my relationship with my narcissistic partner. I would spend hours each day trying to figure out what was wrong with my relationship or me. I read many self-help books on how women were different from men, how men thought differently than women, how men and women behave differently, or what symptoms men had if they were depressed. I read books on how to love myself, how to love my partner, what our love languages were, but not until I picked up a book called Why Does He Do That? By Lundy Bancroft did I begin to open my eyes to the possibility that he was the problem and his anger and controlling behavior were in fact abusive. I began to identify some of the painful feelings I was experiencing in the relationship, but I needed help with this from my therapist and my close friends. These were actually the first steps on my healing path that I had. I had different feelings depending on where I was on my journey to healing. So here are some of the feelings that I experienced, which I'll share in hopes that it may be of some help to you. So the most pervasive feeling that I can't forget, which was agonizing and overwhelming, was the intense loneliness I felt. I had a busy life with my full-time job, caring for my 2 young children, and time I spent with family and friends, and yet I felt incredibly lonely. I felt lonely because he was unable to identify my needs or my feelings. He not only lacked empathy, but he could fake emotions quite well, and he was like a chameleon. Narcissists have a very great ability to hide themselves behind a mask, a false self, and the closest a narcissist can get to feeling anything is what is called a narcissistic injury, which is the rage and the despair that they feel when a person criticizes them or poses a fake or real threat to their excessive sense of entitlement and superiority. No wonder I felt lonely. I began to feel not quite good enough or worthy, like there was something really wrong with me. And these feelings all started when I was in a relationship with my narcissistic partner. No doubt it was from this abuse and the abuse that I suffered during the relationship. The cruel remarks, which I initially questioned whether he meant to be cruel or not, I turned into a completely different person who resembled nothing like I once was. I began to believe the portrait that he painted of me, that I was crazy or overly sensitive, or I had lost my sense of humor, was in fact real. Looking back, I couldn't put my finger on why I felt sad most of the time during our relationship. Not feeling quite depressed, but a low level of unhappiness, which no matter how I tried to shove it away or feel happy, I couldn't. It would probably be called Melancholy if it was another generation. So initially I thought I had found my soulmate. When I met him, I thought I could not live without this man. And when our relationship began, I believed he was my Prince Charming. But my true happy ending actually laid in the realization that he never existed at all. I eventually discovered to my horror that he never understood, heard, or validated me in our relationship because he was a malignant narcissist. it was all deception. He was a lie, and so was my life with him, and I felt completely betrayed when I found this out. I also remember somehow feeling I'd gotten stupid. Well, of course, I didn't lose my intelligence, and I know now this gradual, subtle, and not so subtle, critical and controlling behavior, covert and overt put-downs through his manipulation and verbal abuse, made me feel as though I was losing my mind. And I somehow believed that the abusive behavior was not real by minimizing, denying, or rationalizing the abuse. This is called gaslighting, and this is what he did to me. I describe myself as feeling confused a lot during the relationship with my narcissistic partner, and I couldn't decipher and confirm my confusing reality in any meaningful way because I had no understanding of what narcissistic abuse was. This made me doubt myself all the time. And of course, my narcissistic partner would take advantage of this because most of society would not believe me or anyone who vocally states these things. They don't have any idea, most people in society, what covert violence even looks like. At some point, my self-doubt was replaced by anger. And when I figured out that I had been used and groomed and brainwashed, it was a very difficult and enlightening moment. When I confronted my narcissistic partner with anything, he would turn it around or twist it. Anything that I would have said, in fact, and he would blame it on me. Then I would feel bad instead of mad at that point. But later, I did get mad. I realized that my anger helped me, but that only took me so far, and it was essential to my healing process, but it didn't bring me to the peace that I wanted so much. What it did do was bring me self-respect, and I realized that I deserved so much more than this man and this narcissistic abuse. One of the most profound feelings I had during the relationship was when I realized at some point how controlled and trapped I felt. Not in the beginning during the love bombing phase, but later when he began to use his abusive tactics to devalue me. I was not aware of what he was doing for years. He would plant the seeds in a subtle way in my mind that actually led me to my own feelings of poor self-worth and not feeling enough and all the other negative feelings that I experienced due to what he told me. These might come as a joke or said in a way that was not obviously abusive, but of course they definitely were. Doubts were cultivated that I had never had before. What I would describe as manufactured insecurities that were not present before the relationship. So, if any of this sounds familiar to you, you might be in an abusive relationship, or perhaps you were discarded already and it's over, but you're still not really over it and you're reeling from its effects. You may have always felt like you don't belong anywhere or you don't fit in, and you might believe that something is wrong with you, but there isn't anything wrong with you. You might have grown up with an abusive parent, which makes you much more susceptible to being a target for abusive relationships as an adult. This makes you feel like you're always on the lookout for something or someone to rescue you from the intense pain. The pain alone makes you an easy target for your perpetrator. In this case, myself. I was certainly a target for my narcissistic partner. These deep core wounds of feeling not enough, feeling unworthy, and defective were feelings I had because of the relationship, period, that I was in with my narcissistic partner. Many women who are adult children of narcissists find themselves in situations where their traumas are recreated, their friendships and business relationships, which bear an uncanny resemblance to a narcissistic parent. They might feel they are being held captive by their self-sabotage, their self-destruction, the constant dysfunction and chaos throughout their adult lives without knowing why. And many of us have suffered chronic bullying, which reinforces and cements the faulty programming and the beliefs that you or I might have learned as children. However, in my case, I am an empath, and this was how my narcissistic partner was able to target me. Empaths have many qualities that the narcissists do not have, and this was why he was drawn to me. Most of my healing journey has consisted of finding a way back to wholeness after this toxic relationship. I felt fragmented and broken after my relationship with him. The healing to recover my true self was accomplished by me doing inner work on many levels, including my body and my subconscious mind. So if any of this sounds familiar to you and raises red flags, you may be in a relationship with a narcissist, or perhaps you were in a toxic relationship in your recent past, or perhaps it was a long time ago and you've never understood what it even was, or why you still feel stuck somehow in your life. If you would like more information, please visit me at Debbie Anderson, DebbieAnderson.com, where you can find lots of information and resources. You can learn how to heal from your narcissistic abuse and know that you can heal. I have, and become the woman that you're meant to be. You are a powerful warrior. Hopefully this will be of some use and service to you. And until next time, please take care.